As I mentioned a couple of days ago, the large portion of Surah At-Tawbah refers to what happened in Ghazwat Tabuk, before that, after that, and during Ghazwat Tabuk. And it also mentions a lot of things that the munafiqeen, the hypocrites, said and did during the course of what happened in Ghazwat Tabuk, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exposed. And the purpose of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioning obviously those things was so that as Muslims we learn from those bad habits and we make sure that we don't practice those bad habits as Muslims, understanding that those habits are actually habits of the munafiqeen, the hypocrites themselves. So there are a few verses that I'm going to point out. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in Ghazwat Tabuk that the munafiqeen actually excused themselves, and they basically presented excuses to the Prophet ﷺ and said, we cannot go, we're sick, my wife's sick, my children are sick, and so on, and they stayed behind. And in the meantime, they kept up with the news of what was going on with the Muslim troops that had gone to Ghazwat Tabuk. Whenever they got the news that something good had happened, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that this was displeasing to them. And whenever they got the news that something bad had happened to the troops, they said, thank God we didn't go. إن تصبك حسنة تسؤهم وإن تصبك مصيبة يقولوا قد أخذنا أمرنا من قبل ويتولوا وهم فرحون. So if any good happens to you, تسؤهم, this is bad for them. They don't like it, they dislike it. And if anything bad happens, they said, قَدْ أَخَذْنَا أَمْرَنَا مِنْ قَبْلِ, we took care of our affairs before, and it was good that we didn't go with these people. وَيَتَوَلَّوْا وَهُمْ فَرِحُونَ, and they turned around and they were happy at the fact that they didn't participate. What do we learn from this? There's something in Arabic which is called shamata, shamatatul a'da. What does it mean? Shamata means that when you see somebody in a good situation, you become jealous and you don't like that good situation for the person. And on the other hand, if you see that person in a bad situation, you become happy that he's in that bad situation, which the Prophet ﷺ, he forbade that do not become happy at somebody's misfortune. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might save him from it, فَيَبْتَلِيك, and he might involve you in that same predicament. So this is known as shamata, and this is what the munafiqeen did. As members of a community of Muslims, we need to make sure that we are happy at somebody's happiness, at a wedding, at the birth of a child, at a graduation, at an achievement. We show happiness and we show appreciation for that person. And when the person or any community member is at a loss, he has a loss in the family, a death, sickness, we show our concern. This is what a community is about. And unfortunately what happens, the bigger communities, the bigger it grows, people just become faces in the crowd, and you tend to kind of lose touch with people, that personal touch, and finding out if a person is missing for a couple of days, where did he go, is he okay, is his family okay, and so on. And this is something that we need to make sure that we are aware of. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned 5 rights of a fellow Muslim, and according to another riwayah, 6 rights. What are they? If you think about them, the majority are just interacting, saying salam, visiting, raddu salam, ijabatul da'wah, when somebody invites you, go to their house, and tashmitul atis, when a person is sneezing, you say, yarhamukallah, pray for him, and iyadatul marid, when a person is sick, you go visit him, ittiba'ul janaiz, following the funeral, making sure you participate in the funeral. If you look at all of these activities, what are they? These are basically all social activities that gel a community together. Okay, so that's why the Prophet ﷺ said that these are the rights of fellow Muslims, and this is something that we should all try to participate in. The second selection of verses I want to talk about is related to the fundraising or the collections that were taking place before Ghazwat Tabuk. The Prophet ﷺ instructed people to donate whatever they could for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that the troops could be funded. So people like Abdurrahman ibn Auf radiallahu ta'ala anhu, who was rich, Uthman Ghani radiallahu ta'ala anhu, who was rich, basically they did what they could, and they provided a lot for these donations. And other people, they didn't have so much. For example, a person who's known as Abu Aqil is mentioned in the riwayat of Bukhari. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiallahu ta'ala anhu reports, this Abu Aqil, he had nothing to give. So what he did, he worked all night, and in the morning he had purchased a collection of dates, and half of them he gave for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the troops, so that his donation could be accepted for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now when the munafiqeen, they saw what was going on, the people that were bringing lots, these people, they said that these people are doing this to show off. Okay, so when people did a lot and they brought a lot, they said that they are doing it to show off. And then when Abu Aqil brought his donation, they said, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want with this donation? This is nothing. Okay, so they belittled it. So again, we have a tendency that when people do any type of deed, we have a tendency in our hearts to maybe think bad about that person. We should not have these kinds of thoughts or misgivings about people. We should always think good about people. Especially when people become a little religious, shaitan kind of provokes them and prods them to kind of looking down at other people. And then when you see a person, for example, who doesn't come to the masjid, he suddenly starts coming. So you start thinking, what brought him to the masjid now? Maybe some calamity happened or tragedy happened, and now suddenly he comes to the masjid. Or when people who don't usually come the rest of the year, they start coming in Ramadan, you start looking at them and say, oh well, these people, they never come, and now it's Ramadan and they start coming again. Okay, or you see a lot of people coming for iftar, you say, oh, look at these people, they're just coming to eat here. Okay, and they never come for the rest of the time. So these kinds of thoughts are typical of what the munafiqeen used to have. We should never belittle anybody's actions. We should think that maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might accept that person's coming to the masjid one time, and he might reject all of my salat and my siyam and everything, and I might get punished instead of going into Jannah. Think of the story of the woman who used to pray tahajjud and used to pray, and yet she tied her cat up and she didn't used to feed it properly, and that became the means of her entering into the hellfire. And on the other hand, the woman who was a fahisha, a woman who used to do evil acts and evil deeds night and day, and she just gave water to a thirsty dog, and that was sufficient for her forgiveness. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed about the munafiqeen when they said these things. This is again towards the end of the 10th juz. الَّذِينَ يَلْمِزُونَ الْمُطَّوِّعِينَ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ فِي الصَّدَقَاتِ وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَجِدُونَ إِلَّا جُهْدَهُمْ فَيَسْخَرُونَ مِنْهُمْ سَخِرَ اللَّهُ مِنْهُمْ وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ. Those people that point fingers and make accusations against those people that are doing ita'ah, that they are going out of their way to do ita'ah for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also making fun of those people that can only find the fruits of their efforts. Like Abu Aqil, he came with his earnings throughout the night and he donated them. They ridiculed them. فَيَسْخَرُونَ مِنْهُمْ. They ridicule these people and make jokes about them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responds to that and says, سَخِرَ اللَّهُ مِنْهُمْ. Allah is joking about these people too, these munafiqeen. Allah will ridicule them too. وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ. And they will have a painful punishment. So this is again something we should never belittle anybody. We should appreciate everybody's actions, whatever they do for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And whenever we see them doing any good, we should always be appreciative. The third story also in this selection of verses is related about a person whose name was Abdullah Dhil Khuwaisara. And he was a person when during at the end of a battle, the spoils of war were being distributed, he came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, "I'dil." He told him, be just. Okay, just imagine somebody comes up to you and tells you to be just when you're distributing something. So it means basically he's indicating that you're not being fair, you're being impartial, you're being partial to somebody else, you're giving more to somebody else and less to somebody else. So obviously the Prophet ﷺ was displeased and his face changed, and he said that who is going to be just if I'm not just? I'm the Prophet of Allah. Of course I'm doing the best that I can to be just. Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu was standing there and he said, Ya Rasulullah, give me permission and I'll just slice this person up for saying what he just said. The Prophet ﷺ said, no, don't do anything. I don't want people to come after me to say that I killed my own people. So this is not something that is appropriate for us to do. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed verses about this incident too. وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَلْمِزُكَ فِي الصَّدَقَاتِ فَإِنْ أُعْطُوا مِنْهَا رَضُوا وَإِنْ لَمْ يُعْطَوْا مِنْهَا إِذَا هُمْ يَسْخَطُونَ. There are some people that accuse you about the issue of sadaqat and charity. Okay? If they are given from it, they are pleased, and if they are not given, they become displeased. So again, this is a habit of munafiqeen, that they are always looking for ulterior motives. They're looking for something to get out of whatever they're doing. And if they don't get anything, then they're displeased. A mu'min, he does everything for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses him with something, he's pleased with it without his intention of getting it, and then this is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give him barakah in it. But if a person is doing things for ulterior motives, then this is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not like. So this is another habit that we need to try to avoid, doing things only for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to please Him, and not for ulterior motives. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to understand and practice what has been said and heard.